Hello. We're actually going to do something a little different this time. Chainsaw chains, yeah. We're going to go over the right way to sharpen a chainsaw chain. I'm never really going to stick to one thing on these videos. Vehicles will be a big part of it. Cool cars, big trucks, video games. I'm always going to have video games. I like to do a lot of things. Chainsaws are always have been and forever will be a passion of mine. But one thing I can't stand is the fact that like most men don't know how to sharpen a chain. Like there's so many people who even work around chainsaws every day who don't know how to sharpen a chain. Well, let me go ahead and just set this up right here. Okay, so the angle, the person who actually sharpened this before me actually didn't do too bad of a job. And if you really see right where, right like that, right? Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the part of the tooth that cuts, it is not the top, okay? It's the underside. The side that you're actually filing is the side that actually cuts. Now, it's like, you see all these people with these, like, ultra comfortable handles and stuff. And keep in mind, like, I'm doing this no handle, okay? Quit being a bitch. Put your fucking jig away and file your saw like a man, you goddamn pussy, okay? You want a good angle, a nice, consistent angle. Now you want to dig in pretty deep. This chain's pretty bad. But with just a little care and a little love and patience, and you get that edge back. You go deep and you go deep. Now, if you see the tooth, this tooth is never going to be quite perfect, but this is pretty friggin' close. If you take the non-serrated part of the file, the cutting edge of the tooth should just barely come up over, I'd say maybe a fifth of the file. And of course, you can always just kind of feel it, and yeah, that's sharp. The angle, you shouldn't have this crap, no, this super. You want to stay, there's a little mark on the tooth. You stay as close to that as you can. As far as raker depth goes, right? Raker depth is something that's quite frankly, it is user preference. Again, I don't use a gauge. It tells me how many thou. It's useless. It's useless. You need to know your saw. This particular chain is going on a steel 461 with a 20-inch bar. So, and yes, I'm going to use the puss pad here because it came with it, and I'm not taking it off just for the sake of being manly. So this raker is getting 3 good swipes because I like to have the tip of the file, very tip, match. So that way you take the tip and you just run along the raker as perpendicular as you can. The very tip of the file should just barely come in contact with the cutting edge. I like my rakers deep because it's the way it should be. If you're cutting and you have to force the saw into it, the chain's not sharp. You should actually, if anything, you should have to hold the saw back. I see so many guys sweating their nuts off cutting firewood when they really shouldn't be. Really, like all you should have to do when you're cutting with a saw is sit there and hold the saw. You shouldn't. The saw does the work. All right. That's it. It's that simple.